Okay, welcome to another S3 ICT class on CSS. Here's what you need for today. You need Atom. You need to have your own web page open, preferably the web page that you created before that has links to sub web pages. So the web page with the links with the A tags, okay, to your sub web pages. So where you can find contact, your hobbies, and the other lists on web pages apart from your main index.html. And of course, at least one of your sub web pages, we need to see at least one of those. And if you wish, you can also go to colorhunt.co because later on we're going to work with a couple of colors, one or two maybe. Okay, now moving on. A very quick review here. Remember that in the previous recordings we talked about internal CSS. So we typed in these things and we know, I hope you remember, we know that these things are applied to one particular element, the HR. So these are the attributes of those of that element. So the HR appeared in a particular way. So if you followed all the instructions, let me just go to my web page here, your HR should appear like this. Okay. Now we said though that there are a couple of problems with internal CSS because this only modifies one particular web page. You would have to copy all of this, excuse me, onto your sub web pages. So that's a little bit tedious, and at the same time, repetitive. And if you change one thing here on one particular web page, then you'll have to change that same thing in the file of another web page connected to the main one. Okay, so that's a lot of work and also error prone. So we introduced external CSS. Okay, but remember that what you need to do is create a new folder. So we're going to talk about external CSS, CSS in one place, CSS that's applied to all your connected web pages. But first, you need a folder. So if you go to Atom, that's my main folder. This is my project folder. As you can see, at the moment, this is the index.html that I've been using. What you need to do is uh, to have a folder that is at the same level as this. So within your main or your project folder, what you need to do is to create that CSS folder. Okay, so if you, for instance, click on this new folder, let's say CSS2, just to give an example. Okay, so you have it there. Right click on that and new file. CSS2, let's say CSS 200, just to make it different from the other files that I've created already. Okay, so that's your new CSS file. Those are the two things that you need to do first before we can move on. Create your CSS folder within your main project folder, and then I made a mistake. Create a new file called styles.css. So let me just remove that. Delete that. Yeah, you are trash. So new file. I forgot the extension is necessary. 200.css. So as you can see, that extension is totally necessary there. As you can see in here, like my other CSS files, this has to have that same extension, okay? .css, as is also indicated here. Now I'm gonna delete this because I don't really need it. I already have my CSS files. I just wanted to show you how to do that. Okay, so I hope you've already done that. So if you need to pause the video, pause it now, do this so that you're not lost. You can follow along. Okay, now we're going to work on your new CSS file. Okay, so first we need to go back to our original HTML file, or main index file. Okay, so what you need to do is to move the code for the body and the HR into your new CSS file. You can simply select, copy, paste, and don't forget to press Control S to save. Okay, so let me do that. I go back to my main index.html. I copied this. Okay, you can even Control exit so that you cut it out of the code. But I'm just gonna copy it. This is my main CSS file now. As you can see, I already copied it there, but I can just Control V. That's it. I pasted it. Okay, you can move it. Doesn't matter. And then don't forget to save this as well. Okay, so this is my CSS file. As you can see, I copied this then onto that. Okay, now now you can remove the style tags from your HTML file. Again, save your HTML, save your CSS, and then refresh your web page. So if I do that, let's just suppose that I actually remove it, delete. I save, Control S. Okay, I go to my web page, I refresh it, and voila, what happened? As you can see, the styles have disappeared. Okay, it's bare again. You don't see the HR, you don't see the background color. Okay, some things are still there, like, but without styling. So this regular HR is there. They no longer appear as dots, as you can see. So all of this removed from the HTML file and moved into the new CSS file. Okay, so what do we see? So all the styles that you previously applied, they're gone from your main web page. It's because you deleted the CSS styles from the head tag. Remember, it had to be within the head tags. You had the style tags here, and then within the style tags, you had the different elements and the attributes that you modified. So those are gone. So it makes sense. The styling that you applied before, you can no longer see them on the original web page. Now, what you need to do now is to create a link. Okay, you need to create a link between um, your main HTML file and your CSS file. Maybe I'm going to pause the video to stop the recording here, and then I'll start talking about this in a new recording. Okay, I'll stop here for the moment, and then I'll see you in the next presentation.